Welcome, everyone, to American Snippets. Really excited to have our guest on today, Eddie Pinero. I've been following Eddie for some time. He puts out some amazing content. He has probably one of the coolest, most inspirational YouTube channels that you'll find out there. It's called Your World Within. Eddie, thanks for coming on to today's show.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me, Dave.
Yeah, man. Of course.
Love what you guys are doing.
Yeah, love what you're doing, and really excited to have you on here. It was about a year ago, I think, that I reached out to you about doing one of your videos.
Yep.
You know, we're both passionate about exercise and running, and you helped me with that. I mean, I came across what you were doing, and I was like, man, I love this guy's videos. I got to see what this guy's all about, and see if maybe there's a way we could create something together. You know.
Yeah.
So I appreciate what you did there, and ever since then, I've been following you, and I thought it might be a great opportunity to kind of share what you're doing, you know, with our audience here.
Cool. Yeah. So, you know, as Dave alluded to, my primary platform is YouTube, and that's kind of where, you know, I share my thoughts and sort of experiences, insights, all that in the form of weekly videos. And so, you know, that through that, I've been able to kind of connect with some awesome people and, you know, go that route. So it's been fun.
So Eddie, how did you come up with the idea for Your World Within? Like, where did that all start?
So it started with, you know, kind of a changing the trajectory of my life, what I was doing. I was working in the corporate world and was interested in kind of the artistic side, creative, you know, side of things. I wanted to write music and write in general. And I started to do that, and for the first time in my life, didn't have that kind of safety net, you know, and sort of felt the heat both financially and in terms of, you know, all right, you're a young dude. What are you doing with your life? And so it was sort of an outlet. I started to write speeches for myself to kind of push myself forward and you know, make myself promise that I wouldn't go back to what was easy. And happened to upload one to YouTube and caught on and realized that there was sort of an impact had, right, in a business there. So that's how it started.
Cool. Yeah, not to go back to something that was comfortable, right? Because doing what we do as far as entrepreneurs and getting out there and chasing our dreams, it definitely puts you in a zone that's uncomfortable. But that's where you really need to be, right?
Yeah, those peaks and those valleys. If you know, you got to see the big picture, or it can be tough.
Yeah.
So
I see now. I mean, you have over 100,000 subscribers, and I think like over 17 million views from all your videos, right?
Yep.
How did you do that?
Consistency, really.
I mean, it's only been like 3 years, right? I mean,
yeah, a little bit less. And it's funny because I study a lot of YouTube channels and see what they do and see what works. And a lot of them, they have this one video that kind of sets them off.
Mm-hmm.
And it really hasn't been that in my experience. You know, it's been an incremental, gradual growth. And there's been times where I'm like, all right, this video's fire. I love this speech. It's so good. And I put it out and it's kind of stagnant and it can be discouraging. But just kind of week to week, you know, sticking with it and keep sharing your thoughts and keep putting yourself out there, and good things eventually happen.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's the consistency of it, right? The compound effect of just doing it. I mean, you put out a piece of new video every week?
Yeah. And I'm trying to do 2 a week now.
Wow.
But yeah, about that.
And this is all you, like you do everything from A to Z, right?
Right. Well, see, in the past, probably the first year and a half, I would compose the background music too. And now I just don't have the capacity. So I outsource a lot of the music. But yeah, in terms of like the speech, writing it, speaking it, editing it, that stuff.
So what is, give me like what you think is like your favorite video, like the one that you've created that you just like personally, you just absolutely think it's the best.
Probably Chasing Fireflies, because it's just so personal. And I think the message is so important, about kind of not losing your inner child as we get older.
Yeah.
And, you know, we feel like there's a sort of expectations we have to meet. And so we totally sometimes change from who we are. And that's just such a not only counterproductive, but dangerous in a lot of ways. That video has always kind of meant a lot.
Awesome.
But yeah.
Well, what's it called again? Just to remind everyone who's listening.
Chasing Fireflies.
Chasing Fireflies. It's funny you mentioned about, maintaining that childlike, mindset. I mean, my sister's birthday was just the other day, and she's 51, and she's like, "Am I an adult yet?" I'm like, no, never. Right? Always have that childlike, demeanor and things. So I also noticed that you've turned some of your videos into like some type, like a form of spoken word, and you've created these albums on that are available on iTunes.
Yeah.
And probably some other locations as well, but
yeah, it's there's definitely an artistic side that I like to be able to, when you take the speech, the message, and put it with the music, I think it can have more of an impact.
Yeah.
And from an audio standpoint, it's sometimes it's nice to listen to. So I extracted the audio from some of the videos, and as you mentioned, kind of uploaded it onto Spotify and iTunes and those places.
And they're all empowering messages, right? I mean, motivational, inspirational, getting you at, trying to work people to get out of their comfort zone, things like that.
Right. Yeah. Lessons learned, experiences meant to kind of push people forward and change their perspective a little bit.
Yeah. Which is something I think, and I'm sure you agree, is that more people should be listening to these type of things. I mean, with today's technology, I mean, there's podcasts, there's, various YouTube channels like you have. I mean, one of my mentors told me that, 5 years from now, you're going to be the same person you are today, except the books that you read and the things that you listen to. Each day we all need something that kind of gets us out of bed in the morning and keeps us going. And sometimes an inspiring video that, even if it's just a minute long, or a message or a song, can really change our focus and put us in a different mood that can, kind of carry us through the rest of the day.
100%. I've always been amazed how the slightest change in perspective, as you mentioned, even a minute long, just one thought that maybe prompts you to take a step back and look at things a little differently.
Yeah.
Can really ignite some serious change.
Yeah.
And so, I try and listen to something every morning when I get up, just to kind of reflect and kind of think about what I'm doing and the direction that I'm taking. And yeah, because perspective is everything. It really is.
So 2 things on that. What's one of your biggest challenges that you faced, in terms of creating this and kind of moving it forward?
For me, it was the uncertainty of everything, right? I mean, there was a point when, the first year and a half wasn't really, I wasn't able to support myself on this alone. And it was like something that you have to spend a lot of time on, put a lot of energy into. And it's like explaining to your family and friends, like, yeah, I'm doing this. I'm putting videos up on YouTube for free, essentially. And it's like, but there's a bigger picture. There's something down the road. And so consistently reminding myself that was definitely, I would say it was a struggle. It was tough. It was a hurdle for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, some of the things that I've seen you put out, you're big on a morning routine and creating some of the routine. And I imagine that having that kind of routine helped you push also through some of those challenges.
Yeah. Well, it just provides structure throughout the day, and sort of momentum.
Right. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. And what I just saw a couple days ago is that you released your first vlog.
I did.
Day one.
Day one. Yeah.
And you got back into music, which is like a big passion of yours. I saw you out there on the beach and you were singing and playing the guitar, and it was awesome, to be honest with you.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, it's something a little bit different. It's music is something that I really had left behind in a lot of ways to focus on growing the business. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to bring it back, and thought it'd be a good way to kind of remind people and inspire people that, we can lose what we love so easily. And not necessarily because we're doing the wrong thing, but just because life gets in the way. So I wanted to kind of pick that back up and, throw it out there.
So you said you're looking to publish about 2 new pieces of content or videos a week. So is one of them going to be more of your traditional styled videos, and then the other is going to be a vlog. Is that kind of what's the structure? I mean, how do you think you're going to be moving forward?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Sort of a speech, sort of inspirational message, and then a vlog.
Yeah, more music. You should definitely be doing more of that, because you're very talented with that.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, I really do. I will.
Well, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, I was just saying I will. I definitely will make sure to incorporate that.
I was blown away. I'm like, holy cow, look at this guy, man. This is awesome. I can almost hear that on the radio, you know? I could definitely hear it on the radio. It was really good.
Well, thanks.
Yeah, man. So what's one lesson that you'd like to share with our audience? If you had one thing that you wanted to share, what would it be?
I think the importance of persistence, the ability to adjust, has been important. You know, in terms of like, everyone has a game plan. Everyone has an idea of how things should go, but life never goes according to the game plan. So it's always like, if you have the ability to understand that that's okay, and you can adapt on the fly and kind of continue towards your goal, that's an important thing. And I think it's something that a lot of people fail to see. They see, hiccups and obstacles as failure, or a sign that things aren't working out, as opposed to sort of an expected, okay, time to make an adjustment. Here we go. This is what anyone who's ever been successful ever has had to do. It's my turn to do it.
Yeah.
It's important.
It's the only way that we learn. I mean, anything that we've learned is we've failed at it in one way or another. I mean, it's all about failing forward. I mean, that's how you learn. That's how you tweak. That's how you adapt. That's how you get better. Right. I mean, it's just about constantly improving. And I think in today's age, like people have they just want things to happen like so fast, like their expectations, like, you know, they get started in a business and tomorrow they want to be a millionaire, you know, and they might see like, you know, Facebook videos or things, people driving fancy cars and things like that. And it's just not reality, right? I mean, you have to pay your dues. It takes time. It takes patience. It takes passion, all those things.
Yeah. And what you mentioned, the social media aspect, I think it's problematic. I mean, people do, especially the millennial age group, which I'm part of, right? I mean, people think that that's the reality. People think that you can get that overnight, because no one driving a Ferrari, on Instagram shows the 5 or 6 years of struggle. So it's a tough message. I really do.
Yeah, it's like the whole like get rich fast, right? You know, it's almost like a two-prong approach, right? Because you don't see the years of work beforehand. But most of the time when it actually really happens, it happens in a short space.
Right.
You know, but it happens in that short space because it took all that work beforehand. You know, it's like one of my favorite books is The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. I mean, it's a perfect example of that, right? I mean, it's just a daily routine of doing something positive. And, you know, over time, it's just going to yield into a huge result. And that result happens quick when it actually happens, but didn't, you know, the work to get there wasn't quick.
Exactly. Yeah. Like I love the story of Ed Sheeran, one of my favorite songwriters. And
big fan.
I feel like everything he puts out is incredible. But I was listening to a speech or a talk. I forget, one of the British talk show he was on. But he's like, look, you have no idea how many thousands and thousands of garbage songs I've written. And he took out his phone and he played one, and it was like, wow, it was brutal. And it's just, he's like, it's part of the process. 10,000 hours, you know, got to do it.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the most successful people you find have either, you know, that, right, just stacks of paper of notes, or stacks of journals that they've taken and written down things over the years, just kind of putting thoughts and ideas just direct to paper. And in that, you know, you'll find those golden nuggets that, you know, you can kind of harness and turn into something and move forward with.
Agreed.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, and I tell a lot of I'm a coach for real estate investing through an organization called ReW, Real Estate Worldwide, and we coach people how to get started in real estate investing. So a lot of people who come in, they're very new, and they have that expectation, right, of instant results. But it takes years of work and new skill sets and new knowledge and persistence and a commitment, more importantly, to continue and honing your craft until you can gain some type of momentum and turning it into a business. And the one thing I hone on with them all the time is about success and what it means. And it means a lot of different things to a lot of different people, right? But for me, it's just progress. I mean, success is just progress. So I tell them at the end of the day, when you go into bed, get done brushing your teeth, look yourself in the mirror, look at yourself in the mirror and just ask yourself, did I get better today? Did I, move the ball forward? And if they can just focus on getting 1% better every day, a year from now, they won't even recognize who they were, beforehand. And I think it's just a powerful lesson. And a lot of the things that you share on your YouTube channel and your videos, is right to that point.
Yeah. I mean, it's an incredible message. Progress over perfection. So many people get stuck or don't start because their product isn't perfect or they don't have all the answers. And it's like,
yeah, great.
Little by little.
Great thought. So two questions I like to always ask. This is something we're going to kind of be doing moving forward with our interviews, because we're really passionate on the American dream, right? That it gets knocked around in the news and things like that, like it's dead, and but at the end of the day, we still live in the greatest country in the world as far as opportunity, and I would argue that there's more opportunity today in the age that we're living in than any time before. And there's a lot of reasons for that, obviously, right? Just the social aspect and technology and the internet and connection and being able to create an audience. It's always content and value driven, of course. So it's alive and well, right? The American dream is alive and well for anyone out there who's willing to work for it.
Yep.
So what does the American dream mean to you?
It's the feeling when you get up to know that you will have whatever you work for. And I think it's that simple. And I would state that it's sort of bothered me now, this cultural, everyone wants to be the victim. It's great to be the victim, to have this badge of victimhood. And I just think it's such a dangerous mentality, because, I mean, the sky truly is the limit if you have that mindset. Mm-hmm. I've always been a believer that we all have our narratives, right? And if you're telling yourself a story that sounds like this is trying to keep me down, and this is trying to keep me down, and this is a problem, and this is an issue, and this is an issue, and this is an issue, you will live that out. I mean, you will stay true to the narrative that you've written for yourself, as opposed to the abundance of opportunities. I mean, just the internet alone, you can create multi-million-dollar businesses online from a basement. So yeah, I mean, that's my big message. And with regard to that is you can do it if you want to do it. If you tell yourself you can do it, you can. Yeah.
Everyone wants to have first, right? I want to have this, I want to have that. But they lose sight of, they have to become someone different than they are today. And then they have to be able to do certain things that type of person would do so they could eventually have what they want to have, right? So if they want to be a millionaire, they can't take the same actions that they're taking today to get to that outcome, right? They have to become someone different, and they have to do different things to get that result.
Yeah, exactly. Small stuff.
So one other thing, last question, what does it mean to be exceptional?
Exceptional. I would say a few things. One is being true to yourself. I think in order to truly be exceptional, to feel great about what you're doing, you have to love what you're doing. You can't be wearing a mask or trying to impress someone else. And I think the other piece is the obvious piece is putting in the work so that you do stand out. That you are the best in what you do and really thrive and, flourish in that environment.
Cool.
So I think both of those things. Yeah.
Awesome. So what's next for Eddie? Where are you going next? What's your goals and the results and outcomes that you want to see from all of this and what you're doing and the impact that you're making?
Would love to double down on YouTube and keep putting out videos, keep sharing my thoughts and engaging with some great people. The fact that I can help folks that are in situations that warrant some advice or perspective. I just think that's such a cool thing. So definitely going to continue doing that and see where it goes.
Awesome. Now, if someone out there, one of our listeners wanted to get into YouTube, right, and kind of do something very similar to you and create a YouTube channel, what would be one piece of advice for them that you could give?
Consistency. I think that's a big thing. Being unique. I think another thing that's not talked about a lot is the balance between looking at the channels that have had some success and emulating them, but also not losing sight of what makes you unique. Because I think somewhere in the middle is where the sparks fly. Right? You have to have some individuality. You have to have your own personal touch, but you also have to study what works. So I would say if you can consistently do that, I think great things happen.
Yeah, modeling success, right? Success leaves clues, like all that.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. So I appreciate you coming on to today's show. It was really awesome to have you.
It was great. Great.
Tell everyone where they can find you and follow you.
I'm on YouTube, Your World Within, and also my website is yourworldwithin.com.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Awesome, man. Thanks again. Appreciate it.
Hey, thank you.
We'll talk again soon.